All right, what's going on, you guys? Brian here. Welcome back to my channel. This is my AEW Dynamite recap for tonight's episode. So let's get right into it. We started off with an AEW Tag Team title match that saw Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega retain over SCU. I thought the match was really good. Afterwards, a bunch of teams that are going to be involved in next week's number one contender battle royal to see who's going to face the tag team champions at Revolution got into a brawl. Teams that included were the Young Bucks, the Best Friends, the Butcher and the Blade, the Dark Order, and I'm trying to think there was one other team, an SCU. They were all involved in this brawl after the match. So it'll be interesting to see who walks out of that battle royal next week and going on to Revolution. Speaking of the tag team championships as well, next week, Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega will be making their second title defense. This time next week it'll be against the Lucha Brothers, Pentagon Jr. and Rey Fenix. So that'll be interesting to see who gets the win in that one. Of course, the Lucha Bros pinned Hangman Page last week in the 8-man tag. It also involving the Young Bucks. They teamed with Adam Page and Kenny Omega against the Lucha Bros and the Butcher and the Blade last week. We heard from Darby Allin, who is recovering from the throat injury he sustained, I believe, 2 weeks ago at the hands of Sammy Guevara with the skateboard to the throat. He basically sent a message to Sammy Guevara that, you know what, I'm gonna get revenge on you, and it might happen at Revolution. Who knows? So that was pretty much it for that. Speaking of Sammy Guevara, he was in action tonight. He lost to Dustin Rhodes. Afterwards, Dustin would challenge Jake Hager. And then a little bit later on in the evening, in the show, I should say, they made it official that at Revolution, it will be Jake Hager making his AEW in-ring debut against Dustin Rhodes. So that's going to be a huge match. Nyla Rose defeated Riho to become the new AEW Women's Champion. This matchup was decent. It started picking up near the end. So a big congratulations to Nyla Rose for winning the AEW Women's title. We also heard from Dr. Britt Baker. She talked about what she did last week to Yuka Sakazaki, where she broke off one of her teeth. She also made fun of, or she was kind of being nice to Tony Schiavone, talking about how, he's doing a great job and let's hear it for Tony. And then she started the fans starting a Whataburger chant because it was in Austin, Texas tonight. MJF was in action. He took on Jungle Boy. MJF, with the help of Wardlow and the Dynamite Diamond Ring, picked up the win in that one. Of course, MJF is on a collision course with Cody at Revolution. That's if Cody can survive next week against Wardlow in the first ever steel cage match in AEW. Which leads us to the main event of tonight's episode, Jon Moxley versus Santana. Both guys with one eye patched up because of injuries that Moxley gave to Santana last week. And then, of course, the Inner Circle, what they did to Moxley's eye about a month ago. So this was a good match. Moxley picked up the win. Afterwards, the Inner Circle beat down Moxley. Then they would wave out Jeff Cobb, who is a Ring of Honor superstar. He came out and hit the Tour of the Islands on Moxley. And earlier on in the show, it was announced that Moxley would take on Jeff Cobb next week. So that should be an interesting matchup. So I'm trying to think what else I'm trying to see if I missed anything else. So yeah, that was pretty much about it. With that being said, this has been my quick recap of what took place on tonight's AEW Dynamite. Also on tonight's show was we heard from Pac, where he was training for the 30-minute Iron Man match that he's going to be having in 2 weeks against Kenny Omega. So I thought I'd throw that in there as well. So that was pretty much about it. So with that being said, this has been my recap of tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite. As always, I am Brian, and thank you for watching.